Paris. 2:30 a.m. 5 men in fake police uniforms rush a luxury hotel. One woman inside, alone, no bodyguard, zero idea what's coming. In one night, $10 million in jewelry vanished. A woman feared for her life. The world was watching, except the one person who needed to 5 men. 12 minutes. $10 million stolen. The most audacious celebrity robbery in modern history, and almost nobody saw it coming. The crime was planned for weeks, every detail rehearsed. The target chosen because of what she posted online, every single day, publicly. By the time police arrived, robbers were gone, jewelry gone, and a woman locked in a bathroom had been permanently changed forever. Late September. Fashion Week. A private jet crosses the Atlantic carrying the world's most photographed woman and her small team of 3. Paris Le Bourget Private Airport. No queues, no passport crowds. Just a motorcade, cameras, and an entire city waiting for her arrival. Fashion Week in Paris. Every hour a new show, every corner a camera. Every step she took, documented and broadcast live to millions. Front row at every show. Every ring, every necklace photographed and broadcast live to millions. She documented everything, always, non-stop. Days before the robbery, a prankster charged at her near a restaurant. She was shaken. Her team dismissed it. That was a very costly mistake. That incident was the warning. Strangers could get dangerously close. The security bubble was not as tight as everyone believed it was. Her husband gifted her a second engagement ring, a flawless diamond worth $4 million. She wore it everywhere. She posted it online proudly. What she didn't know, across the city, certain men watched her posts not for inspiration, but for very specific, very dangerous information. The hotel had no sign, no lobby, no address, just black iron gates and a keypad. Celebrities loved it. It felt invisible, almost perfectly safe. Built in the 1800s, once owned by European royalty. Sold in 2004 for $38 million. Converted into 9 suites of absolute pure luxury. The most expensive suite, $16,800 per night. Marble bathrooms, hand-painted ceilings, and absolutely no security cameras anywhere inside. Famous celebrities had stayed here for decades. No signage, no crowds, no address. The perfect hideout, with one fatal flaw: 0 cameras. That night, her only bodyguard was sent to a nightclub with her sisters. She stayed alone in the suite, just her, a stylist, and the concierge. Around 1 a.m. she returned from dinner, removed her makeup, changed into a robe, picked up her phone to scroll. She was almost asleep. Outside, the Paris street was silent. October 3rd, 2:18 a.m. 3 cyclists turned onto the cobblestone street, dressed as police. The concierge heard the knock, saw police uniforms through the glass, opened the gate without hesitation. That single decision started everything. One robber pressed a gun to the concierge's side, whispered in French, "Where is she?" Terrified, the concierge immediately obeyed. They reached her floor, perfectly silent hallway, no alarms, no cameras, no resistance, just one door between 5 criminals and $10 million. The door burst open. 2 masked men stormed in, dragging the concierge. She thought it was a prank. Then she saw the gun and froze. She screamed and grabbed her phone to call her bodyguard. One robber snatched it from her hand before the call could connect. They shouted, "À terre, get on the floor." She didn't speak French, but the gun in the room made the translation perfectly and terrifyingly clear. They bound her wrists with zip ties, taped her mouth. She was completely helpless. Her mind went to one place only: her children back home. The lead robber was 60 years old, completely calm, methodical, a career criminal. He whispered one word: "La bague," the ring. Her $4 million diamond was still on her finger. He didn't snatch it. He didn't yell. He pointed and held out his open hand. She gave it. Then they emptied every case, every drawer, every bag, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, gold, diamonds, $10 million in 12 minutes. Downstairs, her stylist had been sleeping on the sofa. She woke to screaming from above. She ran, locked herself in the bathroom, called for help. The stylist reached the bodyguard. He was at a nightclub across the city. He dropped everything and ran back as fast as he possibly could. The robbers had what they came for. A lookout radioed. Police were coming. Time to go. They abandoned everything else and moved out fast. They locked her in the marble bathroom, walked out through the gates, mounted their bicycles, and cycled calmly into the empty Paris streets. Bicycles, not cars, not motorbikes. Bicycles. The smartest choice they made, quiet, untraceable, invisible in a city full of cyclists. When the bodyguard arrived, the suite was destroyed. He found the concierge, then heard it, muffled pounding from the bathroom door upstairs. Her friend untied her, physically unhurt but completely shattered. She had spent 12 minutes believing she would not survive. They called police. The first officer didn't know who she was. He had to Google her name. Within 1 hour, the whole world knew what happened. Across the Atlantic, a famous performer was live on stage when someone whispered the news. He stopped the show, flew straight to Paris immediately. Police arrived at the suite. She almost didn't let them in. The robbers had worn police uniforms. She could not trust any uniform anymore. Forensics found nothing useful. Gloves left no prints. Burner phones. Escape bikes were stolen. It was professional, clean, and nearly perfect. One robber dropped a platinum cross worth $31,000 while cycling away. Left it in the street. They were so loaded they didn't even notice. That morning, she flew home, a black blanket over her head to avoid cameras. For the first time in years, she went completely silent online. Her social media, updated every hour for years, went dark. No posts, no stories, no selfies. Silence from someone who had never been silent. Friends said she barely spoke for weeks. She stayed home with her children. The woman who documented everything stopped documenting entirely. Paris police had almost nothing. No prints. No working cameras inside. Nearly zero usable evidence. The case looked completely impossible to solve. But they had one thing. A dropped platinum cross. And the theory that the crime needed inside knowledge. Someone who knew her exact routine. Investigators traced how the robbers knew the exact room. Who told them? Only a handful of people could have known. So which one talked? Her driver came under suspicion too. He was the last person to drop her off that night. He was among 17 suspects eventually arrested. Detectives learned the gang monitored her social media for months, tracking which hotel, which jewelry, which nights she was alone at the hotel. The gang came from Paris suburbs, far from the Fashion Week glamour, just miles away in distance, worlds apart in every other possible sense. The ringleader was 60 years old, a career criminal who had spent decades running jewelry heists across France. This was his specialty. Their gang specialized in targeting wealthy women after Paris jewelry events. But this job was a massive upgrade from their usual work. What made this different? Real-time information. Her posts showed the jewelry, the exact location, even her daily schedule, all publicly available. Detectives built the profile. They knew who had the skills and the motive. Now they needed enough evidence to make the charges stick in court. 3 months after the robbery, French police were ready. They had built a complete picture. Now they would take the entire network down simultaneously. January 2017. 17 addresses across Paris. All teams deployed simultaneously. They hit every target in the exact same 60-second window. In a Paris suburb apartment, the oldest gang member was still asleep. 62 years old, 3 months hiding in plain sight. He felt completely safe. The door burst open. Police swarmed in shouting commands. He was still in bed. 3 months of thinking he had escaped, finished in seconds. At the exact same moment, 17 raids across Paris. Bedroom doors kicked open simultaneously. The entire network captured in one morning. 17 suspects arrested in a single morning. 5 who entered the hotel. The rest, accomplices and fences. The entire network finished in one day among the arrested. The believed mastermind, in his 60s, completely calm at booking. He had been through this process many times before. They recovered almost none of the jewelry. Most had likely reached Antwerp, the diamond capital of the world, broken down and sold already. The $4 million engagement ring was never found. To this day, it has never been recovered. It simply vanished, without a single trace. The investigation proved everything came from one source: public social media posts. The luxury, the location, the schedule, all public, all used. Years later, the trial began in Paris, 10 in the dock. French media gave them a nickname, the Grandpa Gang. Average age was 60 years old. 9 men and 1 woman charged with armed robbery, a $10 million heist. They each faced sentences of up to 30 years in a French court. The prosecution's key evidence: wiretapped phone calls showing the plot, and DNA from zip ties linking 2 men directly to the crime scene. Street cameras caught them cycling away. Timestamp matched perfectly. 14 seconds of footage that simply could not be denied in court. 2 men confessed. DNA made denial impossible. The leader even wrote a letter of apology to the victim during the trial. She was unmoved. She gave a brief written statement to the court. She described 12 minutes of pure terror, of believing she would never see her children again. May 2025. The verdict: 8 of 10 found guilty. The courtroom fell completely silent when the judge began reading the individual sentences. The leader, now hard of hearing, walking slowly, sentenced to 8 years. Others got 3 to 8 years. The oldest heist gang in modern history. French law could allow them to avoid actual prison if they stayed out of trouble. Many observers were furious. $10 million, suspended sentences. None of the jewelry was ever recovered. Not a single piece found. The $4 million diamond remains missing today, completely untraceable. Almost immediately, theories of an inside job spread. Someone told them the room number, the layout. Which nights she was alone. Who? The concierge opened the gate immediately without calling up to the suite first. Police found this suspicious. Was it fear or something more? The driver was brought in as a suspect. He'd dropped her off hours earlier. He knew she was alone. He knew the hotel. He knew the timing. He was among the 17 arrested. But police could not prove he was an insider. He was released. The question was never fully answered. What investigators confirmed: information came from social media posts and from Paris event service workers who had seen her daily routines. She hired a full security team after returning home. Armed personnel, multiple bodyguards. Never again would she travel with a single guard. She stopped posting jewelry online entirely. The rings, watches, necklaces still exist, but permanently disappeared from her public posts. The social media break lasted months. For someone who built an empire on constant sharing, the silence was absolutely profound. A complete shift. She spoke about it publicly months later. She said she had been living too publicly, too carelessly, that she now understood completely. She said in those 12 minutes she promised herself she would do better. Not for cameras, not for social media, for her children. Full stop. The robbery changed celebrity security globally. Private protection firms reported a massive surge in inquiries within 48 hours of the news. Several celebrities quietly changed their social media habits after the robbery. Less location sharing, less jewelry, less real-time posting, quietly. Security experts declared it the first major celebrity robbery planned using social media intelligence. An entirely new threat category was born. The robbers studied her routine for weeks. They knew the exact time she posted from the suite. They counted down using her own public feed. The hotel was chosen partly because it had no internal CCTV cameras. The robbers knew this. A perfect crime requires a perfect venue. The prankster attack days earlier was completely unrelated. Police initially used it to confuse the timeline. It was a total dead end. One of the nervous robbers left biological evidence in the hotel stairwell. Police initially dismissed it. It later proved crucial to the case. The gang originally planned to rob her at a jewelry show earlier that week. Too much security changed everything. The hotel became Plan B. Bicycles were chosen because Paris has thousands of identical ones. No license plates needed. The getaway was hiding in plain sight the whole time. After selling what they could, they laid completely low for 3 months. Ordinary life. Buying bread, watching television, acting completely normal. One gang member made the mistake that cracked the case open. Investigators have never publicly specified what it was. Officially undisclosed. DNA evidence ultimately convicted the 2 central figures. Forensic science provided what witness testimony could never have given the prosecution. The robbery revealed, your public life can become someone's operational intelligence. Every single post a clue. Every location tag a map point. $10 million stolen. 0 jewelry recovered. 8 convicted. 0 imprisoned immediately. One woman permanently changed, a $4 million ring still missing. Today, the diamond is still out there, cut, transformed, unrecognizable, on someone's finger who may never know where it actually came from.